Hello, my name is Kay. Welcome to Art Book Nook, where I love to share my collection of art and craft books. In this video, we're looking at Storytelling Art Studio by Cathy Nichols. This is a creative guide for using mixed media techniques to craft emotionally rich, story-driven artwork, encouraging you to draw from your personal experiences. This colourful book is written for beginners to experienced artists alike. Everyone can benefit. And it's flexible. You don't have to follow the chapters in sequence. Simply pick the project or concept that inspires you most and explore. The book is organised into 10 themed chapters. Each one tackles a key storytelling element. Here Cathy suggests all the tools and materials that you might wish to work with. So what's the best way of using this book? Well, Cathy will guide you through a series of step-by-step projects, each one designed to help you explore how a story can unfold within your artwork. The projects aren't about copying Cathy's work, they're designed to be jumping off points, invitations for you to experiment and reflect and find your own visual language. Cathy's style is bright, whimsical and filled with uplifting themes and fairy tale happy ever after endings, but your voice might be very different, perhaps a bit more introspective or a little edgier. And your colour palette might lean towards muted tones, bold contrasts, or something entirely unexpected. And that's the beauty of this book. It's not about fitting into a single style. It's about unlocking the stories that are already inside you, waiting to be told through shape, colour and symbol. There's no right or wrong. This is your journey. On these pages, Cathy shares her own personal story of the moment when she decided she was going to be an artist. There's nothing more exciting to Cathy than a trip to the art store. Over time, we all tend to gather our own little treasure troves of paper scraps, paints, stencils, gel pens and inks and so on. Here Cathy shares her favourite tools and materials, which she uses again and again in her own work. She walks us through how she uses these supplies to build her richly layered, story-filled pieces. Cathy encourages you to work with whatever materials you have on hand, and substitute and adapt and make the projects your own. It's not about having the right tools, it's about enjoying the process of combining the things you love to create something meaningful. Chapter 1 begins with something simple and basic, the background. Cathy knows a blank canvas can feel intimidating, so rather than diving straight into the narrative, she invites you to start by creating what she calls an emotional colour field. This will be the foundation for your story, where the mood can begin to take shape through colour and texture. Before picking up a brush, you're guided through a couple of warm-up exercises whilst journaling and meditating to music. What colours do you visualise? What textures come to mind? On the facing page, Cathy includes a brief introduction to colour psychology. One of the highlights of this book is Cathy's detailed step-by-step projects. She begins with a clear materials list so you know exactly what you'll need. In the first demonstration, called Ray of Light, there are no less than 25 well-organised steps, each one illustrated with high-quality photographs and instructions that show you the process clearly. It's structured in such a practical, easy-to-follow way and will give you the confidence to try it yourself, but with room to adapt and make it your own. The painting bottom right is called Spring Flowers. It's acrylic on wood panel 8 by 8 inches, 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. In this painting, Cathy used the same techniques to create an emotional colour field. She used green, periwinkle and touches of lavender to evoke that feeling of spring. In the second project, Cathy invites you to create a character that reflects you and your personality using craft paper or card as your base. Perfection isn't the goal here. Cathy encourages you to focus on personality, using colour and clothing and small details to bring your character to life. You can either follow her example and recreate her own whimsical character called Little Wing, a figure she's developed, or take the opportunity to invent your own, inspired by your favourite things. The project begins with a few warm-up exercises to help spark ideas. What colours, symbols or style represent you best? This is an opportunity which invites you to see yourself through an artistic lens. If I were to create a character for myself, I think I'd be wearing a crazy hat with hundreds of butterflies flying around. In this third project, Cathy shifts our focus to trees, not just as scenery, but as the central characters in a story. It's an imaginative exercise that invites you to look at the natural world differently. Cathy suggests taking a walk outdoors, through a park or woodland, and really observing the trees around you. Notice their posture, the way they lean, their texture, shape, colour and personality. Some might seem graceful and flowing, others ancient, gnarled or wise. In her own version of this project, Cathy imagines two trees falling in love. She walks you through her creative choices, from selecting a background colour palette to adding texture with layered collage papers and painted details that bring the scene to life. So next time you walk past a tree, why not take a moment? What do you imagine its personality might be? Let me know in the comments, I'm curious. Project 4 is an invitation to create a magical landscape, or perhaps a place that already holds a special memory in your heart. This can be real or imagined, a childhood memory, a quiet corner of your garden, or simply your idea of a peaceful escape. To begin, you'll gather a small collection of reference images, anything that sparks your imagination. Then you will sketch out a loose outline of your imagined world before adding texture, paint and collage. Cathy suggests working on an 8x10" wood panel for this project, and she shows you how to prepare this. You'll be using stencils to build dimension and add interest, and finish the piece with pretty embellishments that will bring the scene to life. It's a lovely way to blend your memory, imagination and mixed media into a special personal artwork. When my children were small, I would take them on a boat ride to an island in the middle of a river. It was only accessible by boat, and I would tell the children it was a pirate island and we had to be careful to watch out for pirates while we explored and looked for buried treasure. I think this would make a really good project because it brings back a very special memory for me. In Project 5, Cathy introduces us to a new surface, clayboard, and a tactile technique called sgraffito. I've never used clayboard before. This involves scratching through a layer of paint to reveal a contrasting colour underneath, creating raw and expressive textures. I seem to remember doing something similar at school. Anyway, by combining sgraffito with steel wool and layered acrylics, Cathy shows us how to build grungy atmospheric backgrounds, which will form the perfect stage for moodier stories or more introspective characters. It's a striking contrast to the brighter projects earlier in the book, and a reminder that storytelling in art doesn't always have to be sweet and pretty, it can be raw and deeply emotional too. This next project explores the idea of conflict, not through words but through contrast. Cathy invites you to imagine yourself as the colourful leading character in a black and white world. What will make you stand out? What are you dreaming of? In her own example, she rides a white unicorn to school, a symbol of individuality in an ordinary setting. You'll start by gathering reference images, including one which you'll convert to black and white to form the entire background of the piece. Cathy used a photo of a local school, printed this on paper and applied it to a wood panel. She then layered her vibrant character on top. This project encourages you to explore personal contrast, colour versus monotone, freedom versus constraint, and how that tension can create a powerful story on the page. In another version, a bright red bird gazes out at a grey, drab New York apartment block and longs to find love. Cathy asks, who doesn't love a happy ending? In this chapter, you're going to take the misunderstood free spirit from chapter 6 and pair them up with a sidekick, a buddy, a friend in arms. Think Batman and Robin, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, or Thelma and Louise. Then, with a little help from your colour wheel, you'll create a simple setting to showcase a united front against the world. And Cathy explains with step-by-step instructions how to create a boutique colour palette for your story. It's helpful to pre-mix your colours and store them in plastic jars before getting started. This will keep the colours from drying out. Chapter 8 is about the written word, and Cathy says no book on storytelling would be complete without a project that incorporates literature, the written word. There are many ways to add words to a painting. You can cut them out and collage them, scribble and paint them in, and even scratch them into a wet surface. In this project, you'll take a page from an old book and black out the words you don't want to appear, so the remaining words have a meaningful narrative. I rather like this idea. Project sounds like quite a bit of fun. In Project 9, you'll explore the use of symbolism, where an object takes on a meaning beyond its literal sense. This is a wonderful opportunity to create something meaningful and personal using treasured keepsakes, such as old letters, children's drawings and other sentimental items that will make perfect leaves for this mixed media family tree. It's a creative way to repurpose those saved pieces, turning them into something new that tells a story. And the final piece will make a lovely gift for your family or a special friend. In the painting on the right-hand page, Cathy repurposed old letters, but she made them into a story about the magic of letter writing and how a series of letters between two people takes on a life of its own. She used beeswax to collage her letters and even their stamps onto the painting, and then, just like in the family tree, she carved more writing into the surface with her metal stylus. We've now reached the final chapter in Cathy's inspiring and very colourful book. You'll repeat a motif in your painting to add depth and complexity to a visual story. This is one of Cathy's favourite techniques and one she uses over and over again in her work. For this project, Cathy has chosen a nautical theme. You'll be using a variety of techniques: collage, painting, punching, stamping and drawing, to anchor all the elements together. If the nautical theme doesn't appeal to you, Cathy encourages you to choose a theme of your own. And for fun, try creating several other collages using the same motif. On the right-hand page, Cathy has done just that in her painting called The Explorer. She's taken the compass, and the painting has used the motif to convey the theme of a young girl's journey through life. In the painting, Cathy has used the compass, a map of Los Angeles, torn paper mountains, a diving bell and ruby slippers, all to highlight the theme of exploration. In the afterword, Cathy explains how the title of a painting can transform it into the story, one that the viewer might personally connect with. She illustrates this with 3 examples from her own work. The first is called Fearless, where a young girl dives bravely into a deep ocean. The second, House Ruled by Love, explores the ideas of rules and control, but the title suggests that rules can also be a guiding force for good. And in the third painting, The Two of Us, Cathy was inspired by the Beatles song with the same title. The absent lyrics tell the story of a mother and son remembering roads they have travelled along together. I recently did something similar myself. A few weeks ago, I was privileged to attend a plein air workshop with the incredible David Curtis. The light was a bit flat and dull that day, but occasionally the sun would come out and sprinkle light amongst the trees, which looked quite magical, so I decided I would try and paint that. I removed the middle tree because it was ugly. Where I was sat, it was so quiet and peaceful with no one around, and all I could hear were the birds singing with their pretty song. So I've called my painting Can You Hear the Birds? I've taken this a step further by recreating the same image in collage. This is a work in progress, so please don't judge, it's not finished yet, but I've included some printed sheet music in the background of the sky, which is where the birds would be up in the trees, to try and convey the feeling of the birds singing. I'm not too bad at pastels and oils, but I'm quite new to collage and watercolour, and really enjoying experimenting with the different mediums to try and paint the same scene. I think you can really have fun with collage, and the sense of fun has really shone through in Cathy's really bright and colourful book. Storytelling Art Studio is very well structured, and an encouraging guide to making mixed media art that tells a personal story. Cathy Nichols' whimsical style and clear step-by-step instructions make it so easy to follow along while still leaving plenty of room for you to develop your own ideas. If you're new to mixed media, you could begin by collaging a few personal greeting cards for your friends and loved ones. But if you're looking for a fresh way to create, this book offers inspiration on every page. I've really enjoyed exploring this book, and I hope it's given you some ideas for your own storytelling art. In the description below, I've linked to where you can buy your copy of Storytelling Art Studio by Cathy Nichols, and if you use those links, it helps to support this channel and I'm very grateful. I've also included a bit about Cathy Nichols and linked to her website, where you'll find details of her online courses, plus her social media channels of Facebook and Instagram too. I hope you found this review helpful. If you did, please give the video a like. It really helps YouTube share it with others who enjoy art books too. I post a new art book review every week, so if you'd like to see more, do consider subscribing. I truly appreciate it. If you found the review helpful, please feel free to leave a comment below. I reply to everyone. And if there's an art book you'd like me to feature, just let me know. I'll do my best to review it for you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy painting.